This is Tyrese Haliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Base.
I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you for recognizing.
This is how legacies are built.
Haliburton takes it in the backcourt. Crosses over on Beverly. Float game for the win! Tyrese! The terror! Haliburton double team. Shot clock at 4. Nembhard's got to put it up. Step back. His three-pointer. Nembhard knocks the three down. Timeout Knicks!
Andrew Nembhard was so good.
17,000 on their feet. Siakam, a three. Siakam hits the three. 6 1/10. Pacers have the lead.
And that right there is why the Indiana Pacers traded for Pascal Siakam.
Nesmith with a running start. Oh my goodness! Just destroyed it. Aaron Nesmith. 10 seconds. McConnell baseline drive. Gives it up. Top in. Corner three. And rattles in. Indiana pulls off a shocker.
The pep in the step is back.
Johnson cut off against Murphy with 6 to shoot.
And blocked by smothered chicken. Please give me some smothered chicken on that one.
You think Tyrese Haliburton is overrated? Think again.
Pacers down 3. Haliburton's got the ball. Haliburton rises up. A 3 and is fouled. You have got to be kidding me. Right in the grill of Giannis.
And that's a miss by Kuzma at the rim. Turner flushes it down the lane. Miles Turner with authority. Oh my God.
The crowd's doing, oh my God.
8 seconds. Haliburton against Giannis. Haliburton, 3 seconds. Puts it in. He put it in. 3/10.
There's no timeout.
No timeouts for the Bucks.
Yeah! That's how we do.
What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome back to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast. And I am live in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the place where the Indiana Pacers just clinched their spot in the NBA Finals with a 125-108 victory in Game 6 over the New York Knicks. Facci, how's it going, my man?
I'm telling you, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to let you know I got that NBA Finals pep in the step right now. That give me one good reason why we can't win an NBA championship type of pep in the step right now. That it was always Pacers in 6 type of pep in the step. You tell me, how are you feeling right now?
Man, it's so surreal, my man. I can't even explain to you being here for this moment, hearing the fan base erupt as they knew, and everything was just inching closer. And then once Tom Thibodeau put his subs in, and you knew the game was on ice, I can't explain it. I was trying to get all the videos that I could. I was trying to get down to the court to make sure I saw the embraces and everybody just getting excited, the award ceremony. It was really hard for me to soak in. So I wish partially that I was home just so I could maybe feel that emotional connection. But being here, it's one of the greatest feelings, ever. And as a fan, right? I mean, I was thinking about this all day long. I mean, this is the longest Saturday I've ever had in my life, waiting to get to the arena around 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight. So all I got to say is, wow, this was a special performance by a special team. So many places we can start with this specific game, Facci. But I think if we're giving out a game ball, it's got to go to the Eastern Conference MVP, Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam was phenomenal in this game. There was foul trouble from Aaron Nesmith to Miles Turner in this game. But when Siakam was off the floor, this team gave up a 7-0 run, started to let the Knicks get back in it. He had to play an extended amount of minutes, and he was just absolutely phenomenal. No, it was a 5-4 vote between him and Tyrese for that MVP, but both players are great, and that just shows you how good they were at different times in this series.
Both players were absolutely deserving, but if you want to go by the numbers, Siakam was just a bit more consistent in this series, averaged about 25 points per game, shot over 50% from the field, never really bottomed out at times. So I thought this was a guy that's been there before, and when you really needed him on a night like tonight, he was cool, calm, and collected throughout. A great game, 31 points on 10 of 18 shooting, had it going from three-point land, got to the foul line, played great defense on Cat. I just felt like this was a man that, like, he even talked about it. He appreciates it a bit more because he now knows, like, what it takes to get back to the NBA Finals. There's a video going out where Tyrese Haliburton maybe thought he was going to win, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And, look, I think that he was deserving. What I didn't like, and not to take away from anything, is that I wanted Haliburton to get a chance to talk at the podium. They interviewed Siakam. They interviewed Miles Turner. I was a little bummed out for Haliburton because he deserved that moment. I don't want to take away from things, but he did deserve that moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand why they gave Miles an opportunity being the longest tenured Pacer.
Yep.
But he did already speak in the arena to the fan base with Pat Boylan. So I don't think it was necessarily necessary to have Miles speak over Tyrese. I agree with you. I was a little bit disappointed that the TNT crew did not have him speak. But, I mean, let's just talk about this for a second. Rick Carlisle taking the mic from Ernie Johnson, saying in 49 states it's just basketball, but this is Indiana. Place erupts. Rick Carlisle then, praises the Knicks. The Pacer fans boo out of the arena. Like, they just didn't want to hear anything about the New York Knicks at this point.
Yep.
This was Indiana Pacers basketball time. And then you also throw in the fact that Reggie Miller was the one that presented the award to Herb Simon. I mean, this is storybook. This is a storybook ending for the Eastern Conference playoffs. Obviously, the job's not done. 12 down, 4 more to go. But my goodness, Facci, to be back in the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years, this is stuff we never thought about. We never dreamed of happening. We thought if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and they're competitive, that's great. But for them to actually win and get to the NBA Finals, surreal stuff.
We're dreaming bigger now, not just happy to be there. We want to win it all. I'm not going to be dramatic. I'm telling the truth. I had tears in my eyes when they got this done. It meant so much to me. I'm sure it meant a lot to you, and it meant a lot to this fan base. You could just see it. You could feel it. Everything on social media right now. There's so many Pacer fans that A, might have never thought this was possible. B, thought it was a tall obstacle. I could say from a personal standpoint, from myself, being a Pacer fan, living in New York, so much of my life, people tease me, say, why are you a Pacer fan? That's so weird. You guys will never win a championship. This, that, always counted me out. And it's on a time like this, I thought to myself, like, man, I always knew it was possible. One day, that day is coming. We are here right now. We are living in it. And this team has just as good of a chance as maybe in any other year you could have asked for. Like, think about it. When the team made it in 2000, they ended up running into Shaq and Kobe in the start of a three-peat. We're running into OKC. While they had a great regular season, this is one of, if not the youngest team in the NBA. I don't think this is this monumental mountain like this. And we're going to have plenty of time to get into that. But just for tonight, man, I really believe, you and I, we said it the whole time, Pacers in 6, we never back down. And I felt like on a night like tonight, they made the changes. They put it all together. It was just a little sweeter to win on your home court in front of your fans, and just everything that you mentioned before of, like, it felt almost like a family, like Nancy Leonard being there, like, just like all of that stuff. It was just magical. Storybook ending, like you said, and I am just so fired up. I love this team. Just about everybody was able to contribute at times, and that was Pacer basketball.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They do have the MVP of the league.
They do.
They won 68 games in the regular season, and of course, they've also won 12 games in the postseason because they had to get to the NBA Finals. So they've won 80 games already this year, Facci. This is no small task. It is a very tall task, and this is going to be very difficult for the Pacers to win the NBA Finals. By far their toughest competition on their road to the Larry O'Brien Trophy. But I will say this. So many guys stepped up tonight in this game, and one of the best adjustments we saw in this entire game was Rick Carlisle starting Aaron Nesmith out on Jalen Brunson for like 2 plays. He picks up an early foul, and what do? They put Andrew Nembhard on Jalen Brunson, and someone was talking with me during the game, and I said, look, the good thing about this right now is the fact that he doesn't have OG guarding him on the other end if they get out in transition.
Facts.
And then, all of a sudden, I'm in the post-game press conference, and Rick Carlisle's talking, and he said that it was actually part of their plan, it was part of their scheme to put Nembhard on Brunson. That way he wouldn't get cross-matched with OG and Anunoby. And I said, look, I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I'm just saying I noticed these things because this is what was taking the Pacers out of their rhythm. And those losses was the OG on Nembhard effect. And then not only did Andrew Nembhard ball out against Jalen Brunson tonight, he was in his grill. He was by far the defensive player of the game in this episode, but this game tonight in Game 6, the reach around steal that he had, getting Jalen Brunson to almost headbutt him, a la John Starks, like, right? Yep. I mean, it was just one of those things where Andrew Nembhard was locked the crap in tonight. And then he started going offensively in the second half. I told everybody on Twitter, look, I know he's not shooting the ball well in the first half, but I guarantee he's going to hit a big bucket in the second half, and he probably had 3 or 4 of them. So Andrew Nembhard tonight was just spectacular, incredibly awesome, and I cannot say enough great things about the way he played tonight. I think, honestly, you could say he was the MVP of Game 6.
You possibly could. I mean, this was the return of Nembhard. Like, it really was. Like, and we talked about the struggles he's had offensively early on. He had some missed shots, and it was frustrating. But I just felt like what he did defensively tonight, how he had Jalen Brunson almost kind of taken out of this game. This is Jalen Brunson, who had been dropping like 40 points or in the high 30s in this series. As good as Nesmith had played, it felt like last game it didn't really work. And then we knew, obviously, like you mentioned, Nesmith picked up his 3rd foul, in the first half, and it was like, okay, this could be some trouble. What Andrew Nembhard did, 6 steals in this game. That is the most a player has ever had in a closeout game. They said in terms of players, random stat, that have had 10 points. I think it was 8 boards and 6 steals. The only players to ever do that in a closeout game: Michael Jordan, Rajon Rondo, and Andrew Nembhard. I mean, look, it's an interesting stat, but
elite company.
It is. And look, hey, Rondo, that was a good point guard, won numerous championships. Jordan, we obviously know about that. But look, for Nembhard, he goes 6 of 12 from the field. He gives you 14. He was a plus 25, and he just had Brunson just unable to be the guy that he had been all series. And we know by the numbers, Brunson had historically shot really good against Nembhard. It was like upwards of 60%, but not tonight when it mattered most. Andrew Nembhard deserves all the flowers in the world because he stepped up really when the Pacers needed him to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Facci, the more I think about this series as just a whole, right? How many guys, probably 1 through 14 if you don't, or 1 through 13 if you don't include Johnny Furphy and James Johnson in that 15-man rotation, 1 through 13 all had a significant role.
Had moments
in this series. I mean, it's one of those things that you cannot understate, right? Because Miles Turner gets in foul trouble. Tony Bradley's not really healthy. He's available. Rick said he couldn't really run. All of a sudden, you're thrusting Thomas Bryant back into the rotation, and you needed Thomas Bryant to do something, right? And what does he do? He splashes 3 corner threes. He has an amazing block that just spearheads a fast break. And then on top of that, you've got Obi Toppin stepping up tonight with 18 points, big clutch shots, 3 blocks of his own. I mean, those 2 guys, to me, they really had to step up with Tony Bradley not being able to play and then with Miles being in foul trouble. And they held it down at the 5 position in those moments. And my goodness, they made Karl Anthony Towns look lost, and Mitchell Robinson, having to overexert himself in the first half, was gassed by the second half.
Thomas Bryant forever stamped himself as an Indiana Pacer. Forever. I think
Pacer legend.
Everybody will always remember this Game 6 from Thomas Bryant. 11 points in this game, 8 of which came in that third quarter. It was incredible. I mean, this is a guy that we talked about, kind of like lost some faith for a while. Like, man, Thomas Bryant does not look good. On a night like tonight, when he made that first 3, I was thrilled. I went, okay, wow, he had a 3. I've probably seen everything I need to see from him, and man, I was wrong. He just kept shooting. Those 3s, they were wet. But also, it's like, you mentioned Obi Toppin. We were waiting for one of those type of games where it's like, when is Obi really going to, go off? And I think in game 1, he was big from like a rebound standpoint, had 10 boards. Great, but had some other quiet games. This was that type of night where he was just everywhere doing a little bit of everything. 18 points, leading the bench in scoring. Fantastic. We've talked about at times where Mathurin had times where he was really good, not in this game, but throughout the series. And your Thomas Bryant, your Tony Bradleys, your Siakams, Nesmith, every guy had those moments that arguably swung a game. And you don't win this game if you don't have like an Obi Toppin playing as good as he did, or Thomas Bryant giving you that extending the lead in the third quarter, like, because the Pacers were in foul trouble. Nesmith picked up 3 fouls early. Turner with the 4. Turner just like, it was hard for him. Then Turner picked up 5 eventually. guys stepped up, and the depth that the Pacers had is not what the Knicks have had, and that is why they were struggling to kind of figure things out. You talked about it earlier. Rick Carlisle having just one more adjustment in him, putting Nembhard in there, being able to have that switch, that changed a lot. And that is everything you and I spoke about after the last game, saying Carlisle needs to make some changes. And we know he's a great coach, but great coaches, like, they get the job done. And that is exactly what Rick has been able to do now, taking his second team to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's a special moment, and I think it's really special for Rick Carlisle just because of all the moments he's had here with this franchise in Indiana. Clearly, he should have been there as a head coach before, if you look back at that Brawl team, obviously.
I know.
But to get this team here now, and
Redemption.
Nancy Leonard, obviously, shout out Slick Leonard for all the great years of just leading this franchise as a coach, and then them saving the franchise with the Pacers telethon and so many great memories. I mean, I believe Nancy Leonard's 93 years old.
Yep,
and here, Miles Turner, Tyrese Haliburton just hugging her, embracing her, and thanking her for everything. I mean, this is just really cool stuff. I mean, I can't even explain everything, but I do want to give Tyrese a shout out tonight because, look, it was rough early on. He was 0-4 in the first quarter. It didn't look like he was playing well. I think he had 2 or 3 turnovers at that point. Wasn't shooting the ball well, but then all of a sudden, Karl-Anthony Towns just leaves him wide open for 3, and I think that kind of just opened up the floodgates for him a little bit to just feel more confident in who he is as a player. One of the most incredible things that I saw from him tonight was his ability in the second half to blow by Mikal Bridges and get into the lane because he wasn't settling for threes. Now, he was hitting that floater there in that fourth quarter, just continuing to kind of extend that lead as the Knicks would make their little comebacks here and there. Tyrese had a good game, and he got over 20 points. I think he knows the statistic of what the record is when he scores over 20, so he was hunting for that 3 at the end, hits that logo 3, pretty much the dagger in the Knicks' heart, and the crowd goes nuts. I actually was videoing that during that time, so you could just tell he was hunting for it. And wow, I mean, honestly, like, Tyrese has had some really good games in this series. Obviously, like a phenomenal game 4, incredible comeback in game 1, and then obviously this game here in game 6 closeout that he played pretty well, and defensively he was everywhere. But you can't say enough great things about Tyrese Haliburton, the amount of pressure that he has put on him and this franchise has put on him to kind of lead this team. And wow. And just this is his 3rd season with the Pacers, really, because he got traded in the middle of the season before they got Mathurin. So really, 3.5 years, and he's leading this team to the NBA Finals. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
I still remember when he said the words, when we missed the playoffs last time, I'm tired of losing this. I want this to be the last time I don't make the playoffs. And it was like, wow, man, we haven't done anything. Like, we better start winning. You have a really good point guard. You need to get it done. And man, Tyrese changed everything for this team. He's had better games, but this type of performance tonight was what the Pacers needed. Like, think about this. You mentioned he went 0-for-4 to start. Everybody saw the stat out there, what it's like when Tyrese misses his first shot. Like, I was nervous, but he didn't get down on himself. He didn't stop shooting. So when he goes 0-for-4, the way he responds is going 9 of his final 13 from the field. 11 points in the fourth quarter. The floater was relentless. He was just killing them with it. I think in the fourth quarter, I believe he was 4 of 5 from the field. No, he was 5 of 6 from the field in the fourth quarter. I mean, think about that. What more can you ask from your guy, your franchise player, to go 5 of 6 from the field after struggling just about all game? Incredible stuff. Him and Siakam, like, you look back on this, and I know we'll talk about this plenty in the offseason, this and that over the next week or so, but like when the Pacers made the trade for Siakam, this is what they envisioned. Yeah. This is what they hoped for. Like, pair these guys together, get Tyrese help, and you just got the Eastern Conference MVP, from in that trade with Siakam. I just love what I saw, everything that we touched on before, what it meant to Turner of being here through it all. Like, that's why he wanted to stick it out here, and it's just incredible stuff, how this team was built, how they've come together, the chemistry that they have, the fact that they never gave up. They haven't lost back-to-back games in literally forever. It's like, it just so much just feels like this team is so special. And I know there's been other teams before in the past, but like, there's something different about this Pacers team that I firmly believe none of us will ever forget.
No, we won't. This is a special moment, Facci, and it's hard to just soak it all in right now because it's just so surreal, right? I think you're going to be thinking about it in the summer, June, July, August, when this is all said and done, and you're going to go back and just watch and just think, man, what an incredible run this was. Like, this is not the finish line.
Nope.
This is, you're 75% of the way there. But still, the fact that they are in an unfamiliar territory, getting back to the NBA Finals, like, this is emotional, man.
It is.
And I don't know how else to explain it, but I love this team. You say that all the time. I love this team.
I love them.
They're so fun to watch. They're so fun to root for. So many awesome guys. I mean, you're just so happy for them. Like, how can you not be happy for a TJ McConnell? How can you not be happy for a guy like Miles Turner? These guys have been the longest tenured Pacers, right? James Johnson, I don't think he's ever won an NBA championship in his NBA career. Mm-hmm. So for him to get to the finals of this group is incredible. And I won't lie to you, after we got off the floor and we're heading back to the media room to talk to Rick and Miles and Tyrese and Pascal, on my way back there, Mike Weiner is waiting in the hallway for the Knicks assistants to talk to them, kind of just say, tough series, just showing and paying his respects to that coaching staff. And he was just so emotional, man. I mean, he didn't really say much, but he was just smiling from ear to ear. And I said, you were with Rick back in 2011, right? I was like, or were you not with that team? He said, I've been with Rick since 2008.
Wow.
When he was hired.
That's a Rick lifer, right?
Yes. There. So he has been with Rick from 2008 to now. So I asked him, I said, well, what's the difference in the feeling of, being in the, in the finals in 2011 to now, just with this team and this group? He's like, man, this is a special team. And it was just really cool to kind of get that interaction. And so I don't know what else to say, Facci, but just want to say shout out to the podcast we did yesterday. Me and Cammie did a preview. Cammie, number one, was in Indianapolis for like 5 days. So he really got a taste of what it was like. Didn't stay for game 6, and I kind of got on his case for that. But I did tell, he said he's going to maybe come back for the finals. So we'll see what happens. But I told him, I said, look, if Thomas Bryant has to play, if he sees a corner 3 go in, that's going to be huge. And then I also said, I don't understand why Obi Toppin can't be a rim protector. And what happens tonight? The two things that I bring up, I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying, like, what are the odds that the things I talked about made a difference? So I'm really excited, Facci, because I've asked fans to send in videos as well of how they're feeling about this. So I'm going to post that as a separate episode. It's not going to be just on this episode, but it's going to be a separate bonus episode. So if you want to chime in on that, I'm going to give a few more hours before I release that. But I just want to make sure that people get a chance to kind of express how they feel about this team and obviously this run the Pacers are on right now.
Can't wait for it. And just to speak on that, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I wasted no time and I bought my ticket to game 3. I am going to Indiana.
You already bought it?
I already bought it.
Where's your seats at?
I gotta look it up. We gotta
know, Facci.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be in the 200s. It's like row 1. Cannot wait. I'll buy myself some time while we're going through this. But I wasted no time because I knew, hey, you know what? These tickets are only going to keep selling. I'm buying it right now.
I didn't even know they were for sale.
I immediately ran on there. It was expensive. Section 209, row 1, seat 9. I will be there. First of all, 1, I'm coming for you. All right. I'm excited to see you again, man. A pod in person after the game would be electric, especially after a win. And second, for anyone who's listening to this, listens to our show, and is going to be there for game 3, I want to meet you. All right, I want to shake the hands of everybody that has ever supported this show, and I just cannot wait. It's going to mean the world to me to be there, surrounded by other Pacer fans, when we have a shot to contribute to winning a championship.
Yeah, we will set up a meet and greet with our fans.
Have to.
Before the game. I can't do it after the game, but we'll do it before the game, and we'll do it probably on the main concourse. Everybody walks in, so it's not trying to find us in the balcony, things like that. So we will do a meet and greet. Maybe we can say outside of the home court gift shop. I think that's a perfect place to meet.
Whatever we got to do.
Right when you walk up the stairs, it's to the right, so that'll be just really easy to do, and be a lot of music over there, so it'll be fun.
Feels like one night only. We got Alex and Facci together. You got to be there. Game 3, NBA Finals. I can't think of a better type of environment for that. So I am so excited about this. It's gonna be incredible. And you know what? I know we've had bad luck in game 3s. That's the only one I could swing. But at the same point, we're due for a game 3. You can't just lose every game 3.
Yeah.
But also, I couldn't chance this and say, hey, you know what? Maybe there'll be a game 6 or whatever it is. Nope. Had to take with what I could permit for the schedule. I can make a game 3. I'm gonna be there.
Facci, I recognize you do not have the Reggie Miller pinstripe jersey on. What jersey did you wear tonight?
I do not. Shout out to Rooster, one of the original listeners of the show. I am wearing a jersey that Rooster sent to me a while
Let's see the number on it.
It is number 1. And the reason why you and I talked about it, you said, do you have any jerseys with a 4 or a 6 in it? I said I have the old school Paul George 24 jersey, but it's at my parents' house. And I'm probably not going to have time to grab that. Then I don't have a 6 and anything like that, but I do have a 1. I do have the Rooster jersey. So, Rooster, if you're listening, which I'm positive that you are because we appreciate you, man, your jersey, it just might have brought me some luck because that Reggie jersey, there was a loss last time. I think it was starting to stink a little bit. Hadn't washed it, And so I needed something fresh. And this jersey was fresh, and it brought the good luck charm tonight.
Yeah, I told you. I said, if you don't have a 2 or a 4, wear the 1 that Rooster got you, because this is 1 game is all they need to win. And so it played a big factor in it. And he also got me a 1 jersey as well that says Golden 1 on it. And I've been wearing that for our post-game interviews when I'm at home. So
nice.
That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been feeling the good vibes from the Rooster jerseys. Obviously, we were supposed to get him a Tyrese Haliburton jersey, and we never got it for him. I guess I bought it. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. I bought it and shipped it to him, but it never got there. And then we just kind of said forget it. But we still need to make that up to him at some point. So Rooster, you've been a big supporter of this show, and you've donated plenty of your finances to Pacer Nation that we will make sure that we get that covered for you. Do not let me forget, which I know you won't. 10 years from now, if I still forget, Rooster will be texting me, "Where's my jersey?" I'm just going to say I did order it online. I ordered it on NBA.com. And it said it was shipping. I mean, you paid me some money for it, I think.
I did. We did. We went on this.
It was like $75 each, I think.
I remember seeing, I can't remember it now, but I'm pretty sure I remember you sending like a confirmation email or something of the sort like that.
Yeah.
So, hey, I don't know what happened, but just, man, couple things I want to point out in this game. I know we probably should have got to it earlier, but the Pacers defense led to a lot of offense. And in this game, I just felt like they were really making things tough for the Knicks. They scored 34 points off of 18 forced turnovers. They outscored the Knicks 25-10 on fast break points. And another key fact is when the Pacers, their last 2 losses, they scored, I think it was 5 made threes and maybe 10 made threes in a game. Tonight, they were 17 of 33. That's good for 51% from 3. I felt like from top to bottom, they checked off every box of what they needed to do to get the job done tonight.
No, I mean, that's a great point, Facci. They were unbelievable, right? They just shot the ball so incredibly well. And let's be honest, the Knicks never really had a great shooting night in this series whatsoever. And so I think that you got to give the Pacers credit, or their defense a lot of credit for that, because they have kind of they were notorious for that last year. Hey, we're not going to let guys beat us from 3, but we'll get killed in the paint. And the Pacers were dominated in the paint. And I thought early on, it was kind of feeling like New York style of pace, especially early on in that first quarter. It was 25-23, something like that, 26-25. I can't remember what the score was now, but it was Mitchell Robinson getting 5 offensive rebounds, and Miles couldn't hang with them. And it was just a tough spot they were in. I was like, this feels weird. It's the Pacers are up. They haven't had good contributions from Tyrese, Nesmith, or Miles, but they're playing the Knicks pace. How do you actually feel about this game? So it was just weird, but I think that's a great point. And then obviously the turnovers was a massive point as well. Just being able, I think they generated 32 points off turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. 34. Yeah.
Crazy stuff. And I got something good for you. You mentioned Mitchell Robinson, 5 offensive rebounds, in the first quarter, just really struck fear into me. He finished the game with 5 offensive rebounds.
There you go.
The Pacers made the change. I remember Mitchell Robinson had 6 points, 5 boards in that first quarter, and I was like, they're in trouble. He finished the game with 8 points and 9 boards. Not another one on the offensive side of things. I feel like Indiana made the changes needed to really keep him off of the glass. I thought that was huge. Obviously, look, no one's going to finish with a great plus minus, but he ended up finishing as a minus 18 in a game where it looked like he was going to be the difference maker early on. So I thought, for the Knicks, Mikal Bridges, his defense was all over Tyrese, and I want to give Bridges credit. Really good defender. Obviously, look, he made things very difficult for Tyrese. OG had it going on. Those were guys that made me sweat a little bit, but Indiana just did what they needed to do. They stepped up in moments. This was a top to bottom type of effort. And I feel like when we talked about last time where everyone struggled and you had, 2, maybe 3 players in double figures, textbook Pacers basketball, 7 players scoring in double figures tonight. Man, I just feel like I can't say enough great things about this team.
No, it was a team win, and that's how they play their best, right? When they're playing like a team. So kudos to them. Shout out to the fan base that got to witness this in person and at home. That you just invested so much of your time into this. I mean, it's just the amount of interest in this team has just been growing, and it's really cool to see. So as we kind of wrap things up here, we do need to give our player awards out. Who do you think was the MVP of tonight's game?
Whew, man, that is really tough. That is really tough. I think you can go probably 3 different ways here. You could go with Siakam because obviously, look, he scored the most and he won.
I think it's Siakam just because
I think you do.
He scored over 30 points in this
Yeah.
game. He was phenomenal. The Pacers were really bad when he wasn't out there. I mean, I said Nembhard could be the defensive or could be the MVP of the game, but I think he's our defensive player of the game. So I think that's how you can kind of split it up.
I think he is, and if you want to go with the clutch player, Reggie Miller Award, that's Tyrese Haliburton. His 11 points in the fourth quarter, 5 of 6 shooting, like we discussed. That man put the nail in the coffin once again to send the Knicks packing. That he is the modern day Reggie Miller as it relates to Knicks fans. He's that guy standing in their way, just kind of waving you off, saying, have a good day. Book that trip to Cancun, get some sun, do whatever you got to do because your season's over. Tyrese Haliburton is that dude right now. He was as clutch as could be.
All right, and for our Feisty Foster player of the game, I think we need to give out Feisty Foster players today. I think 2 guys we talked about already, Obi Toppin and Thomas Bryant.
I agree with
Without their contributions,
the
Pacers do not win this game. And so I think while they both had massive impacts in different ways, I think we need to split that award tonight.
I think it's totally fair to do that. Those are guys that really stepped up. Feisty is that type of word, I feel like, for those type of guys. Some of those blocks by Obi, those weren't just blocks. Those were swats. Like, he was getting up. He was sending those flying. I mean, that's why at times we're hard on Obi, because he is capable of this.
Yeah.
He really is. A night like tonight, we've seen it flashes, but this is when you need it most.
He's the most athletic player on the team.
Yeah.
Why does he not get more blocks? I mean, it's asinine. He needs to get better at that. And maybe what he saw tonight, how like the repercussions of it were a great thing, right? It's like, wow, if I do this, this leads to this. Like, wow, okay. Maybe he'll start doing it more. Maybe he won't just be jumping out of bounds and grabbing the ball out of the net to throw it in and actually contest a shot. So I'm excited for that. But Facci, this is just, I feel like my excitement is not where it needs to be. It's a little bit late. It's already past 1 o'clock as we're recording this.
It is.
So
it's late.
It's late, but I'm still not going to be able to sleep when I get home. I got to edit, do all this fun stuff. I mean, I'm just so excited, but you got the pep in the step. I got the pep in the step. The whole fan base has the pep in the step. And look, Cammy said on the last episode we just did, he said, Jalen Brunson had that pep in the step in Game 5. I said, excuse me, that is an exclusive setting the pace pep in the step. Jalen Brunson can have it. So if he thinks he has it for Game 5, we're taking it back in Game 6, okay? We're not giving Jalen Brunson no pep in the step. In fact, he got so upset he had to headbutt Andrew Nembhard. He's back in the locker room, after the game's over, talking to the media, and he basically just says, I think we have a championship-level team here with the Knicks. I'm sorry. We'll see. I'm already seeing people say they got to trade Cat. They can't keep Cat. Oh, man, isn't it great not to be in this spot? Oh, it's unbelievable. The Pacers are in the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. Can you say it again for me?
What a life. The Indiana Pacers are in the NBA Finals. And when you're talking about Jalen Brunson, the pep in the step, that man's pepless, all right? His tires are flat. There's nothing in those steps right now. So he ain't got it. This team's got it. I just feel like, man, it's a movement right now. I love that background. Eastern Conference champion.
Look at that, baby.
I cannot wait to get the shirt. I want the NBA Finals shirt. I have the 2000, Eastern Conference Championship shirt. That is something that lasts a lifetime. So I need that. I can't wait. I can't wait to be back in Indiana, man. It's been, I don't know. It's been like 3 years. Something like
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like at least 3 years since.
I think it's 3.
I think it's like 3. I think October would mark like 3 years or it was something along those lines, but I cannot wait. It's been too long, but like, man, to be at this type of moment, I've said before, winning Game 1 in the Garden, that comeback that I just witnessed was my greatest sporting memory moment, whatever it is. But there's nothing that's going to be like winning an NBA Finals game. I want it bad. I hope we can do it. But like I said, I can't wait to meet everybody along the way. This is going to be just, I know you're used to going to Pacer games, but you got to take it for a second. On my standpoint, whenever I go to games, I am one of like 5 fans. It is not what you get to experience. I get heckled. There are no high fives. I don't get to turn to someone and be like, we did it. I just want to be surrounded by like my own, like Pacer fans that are in it together to win it. I want to high five everybody that I can possibly high five. I can't wait for this.
When is Game 3? Do you know what day it is?
It is the 11th.
What day?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. So I might try to take Wednesday off of work.
You might have to.
And then maybe me and you can get together. I don't know when you're flying.
Nothing to do.
When you're flying in.
I will get in early. The first thing I had to do was book the finals ticket.
Okay.
Now I'm booking the plane, man. I've been itching to book. I'm telling you, this was not cheap. It was not cheap, but you know what? I got a long time in my life to make more money. Money's always going to be spent. This is worth every single penny to me. I will make sure I get a flight where I'm in there nice and early, and we can do whatever we got to do because
All right.
it's probably only going to be 24 hours. I'm going in and I'm going out. So
I'm gonna take that Wednesday off. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know I'm gonna take that Wednesday off. We're gonna make sure we get some barbecue chicken pizza for lunch.
Love it.
That's Facci's go-to. I do know
in.
that from our last
Yes.
time. So we're gonna have ourselves a celebration. But Facci, we need to wrap this one up.
do.
So Pacer Nation, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast, Setting the Pace. We cover the NBA Finals, Indiana Pacers 2025. That's right, the Eastern Conference champion, Indiana Pacers. That is a team that we cover. And we are happy to do it. So with that being said, if you're hoping the Pacers can shock the world in the NBA Finals against the greatest team this season, hit me with those 3 words.
Let's go, Pacers.